Well, you may well want to push the geometry from a gCADPlus drawing out into SketchUp and build a model similar to the one you've seen here. If we attach an elevation value to these steps in here, the job in SketchUp is going to be that much easier. Let's zoom out and I'll pan across. So if I select the first of these steps here and you look over in the properties box, you can see its elevation is 250. If we then move up to the next step, its elevation is 400, 150 onto that, this one's 550, and so on. As we go up these series of steps, we're now up to an elevation of 850 millimeters, 0.85 of a meter. So the elevation values of each one of those steps is contained in the properties box. And each step was drawn with a polyline. If I select this polyline, you can see its elevation is 0, so that's our base. I've drawn what will be a cantilevered seat using the rectangle. So if I pick on there, you can see I've set the Z value at 600, and then I'll just use in SketchUp, I'll just use the push-pull tool to pull down, say 100 mil, and that seat will start at an elevation of 600, a comfortable seating height, and people will be able to use that seat effectively with their feet on the paved area. So throughout this drawing, if we take this wall through here, its elevation is 600, so is that elevation there. If we come over here and pick what will be another polyline, I think, around there, the elevation of there is 2600, and there'll be others up in this zone here that are different. Again, that's 2600. I think from memory the elevation of the polyline around that paving area there is 1900. So you can see that in this design, as we're working with gCADPlus, we're thinking about elevation levels, and that, I hope, will help us in building the model in SketchUp. The other thing we've done is to use the layers in here. So we've got SketchUp platforms for the steps, the triangulated network for the ground surface can also be on its own layer, and so on. So we're using layers relatively efficiently. Anything going to SketchUp, I'm starting with the term to SketchUp. That enables us to turn off, say, the plant symbols like so, and we're now left with what we're after. I can even turn off layer 0, so we'll make to SketchUp the current layer, turn off layer 0. Okay, that then just gives us the bare bones of what we want to put into SketchUp. So I'm going to select all of that, right click, copy to the clipboard, start a brand new drawing without a template, paste from the clipboard into this brand new template, nominate 0, 0, and there let's just zoom extents. There we have the basic geometry of what we want to work with. To put this information in a form that SketchUp can accept, we'll just use File and DXF out, and I'll put it on the desktop. I'll call it AAA test will do just for the moment, and we'll save. So we've exported by using the copy to clipboard, put the data into a new drawing, and then exported from the new drawing in the form of a DXF file. You could skip that intermediate step of copying to the clipboard if you wanted to, but I find it cleaner and easier to work in this way. Now it's time to start up SketchUp and see what we've brought across. Well, here we are in the SketchUp environment. I'm using SketchUp 7 here. You just need a version of SketchUp that will allow you to go File and Import and change your files of type to DXF. And if we look on the desktop here, and I need to change my view to details, we've got our AAA test DXF file, and we can open it up, and that brings it, all that data comes straight into SketchUp, and we can use the orbit tool and move like so. Let's shrink it a little, if I pick, that comes in as effectively as a block, and if I pick it and right click and say explode, we've now got the base geometry there. And because we use layers in the SketchUp environment, we could now make, let's imagine we wanted to do with the steps, so we could turn off all of the other layers apart from our steps layer, and to make each of these a surface, it's just a matter of using the line tool and doing that. So one or two, a couple of clicks is enough to get us in a position where we can quite easily build the geometry. So if I now say I'm going to use the push-pull tool, remember these steps were 150 mil apart, so we could move up, say 75, move that one up 75, and follow that along. If you'll bear with me, we'll just do this group. Nearly there. And again, because they are all separated by layers, we can select that group, pick up our paint pot and find, let's say, our wood, and we could say we want these cherry red, and bingo, they're all done in one go. And then we can bring our layers in here back on and bring it on. So there's already taking shape rather nicely our drawing, and what I'll do is go on and do a little more with this and start building this 3D model, applying some surfaces, and then finally we'll put some plants in. So I hope you can see that by assigning an elevation value to entities in the gCADPlus environment, once you get into SketchUp, building the model is relatively straightforward. It becomes really easy to put, say, a wall on this side here. That's on a walls layer, so we just need to go click, click, and then zoom in a little, and we can bring that wall, bring that wall down to the base level, and do the same with areas such as let's pan the drawing, same sort of thing we can do on this platform, and do that. There's the platform. That could be, say, 100 mil high, so again it's push-pull and move it up 100, and then use the paint pot to apply some other wood floor maybe to it, wood OSB, that will do. And you'll notice, because I was just picking, I didn't have that one isolated, I've got to go around rather tediously and apply paint there. So I hope this little first step shows you there is some value in assigning elevation values in gCADPlus when you move into the SketchUp environment. This does require a version of SketchUp that can take in this sort of information. We've made a number of other movies which show you how to use the free SketchUp, and in that case you export from gCADPlus an image file and then build a model based on the image file. The image file can be, if it incorporates a scale, you can scale things in this very same environment.